It's one of those nostalgic nights when you think back to the good old days. Days when you could, say, walk along paths at the foot of Pikes Peak and take a fork in the road to the Anselm Society Digital Pub, and then perhaps inside there would be a riotous conversation on arts, faith, and days when we used to, go to places. But alas, those days are gone, like rain on the mountains, like wind through the meadows. How did it come to this? Anyway, my name is Matt Melma, and welcome to Believe to See, podcast of the Anselm Society Arts Guild. The Anselm Society is a coalition of churches across the Front Range of Colorado dedicated to one simple goal, a renaissance of the Christian imagination. To further this goal, we do all sorts of things. Each spring, we generally have our big Imagination Redeemed conference, which in the past has attracted folks from all across the country. As you can imagine, that conference was very sadly canceled this year. But if you want to check out a lot of the speakers and events, we did as much of that digitally as we could. And I believe a lot of it is either on our YouTube channel now or will be in the near future. So keep your eyes peeled on our YouTube channel and our website, anselmsociety.org. And also, maybe check out the concerts and slates of events that we have. But, oh man, that just made me sad. But check out all of our web presences, our Facebook page, our website, Instagram. We're doing as much as we can, as socially distant as we can. To find out more about Anselm Society, please visit us at anselmsociety.org. And while you're there, check out Anselm's 2 other podcasts. And since we're already doing stuff, maybe rate and review our show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I think it's a good idea. I mean, come on, you're in quarantine. Why not? So now I'll come out of my funk a little bit on this. I believe it's our 11-first day of quarantine. We have basically you two are probably the 2 most frequent co-hosts. So you're both co-hosts today. Mandy and Evangeline, how are you both doing?
Doing well. Sitting at home.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a status report. Mandy, how are things going on the quarantine, and what is the most quarantine thing you have done so far?
The most quarantine-y thing I have done so far.
Yes.
I have been tackling my Christmas decorations and trying to weed out the ones that I never use.
Oh.
So, but then I don't know where I'm supposed to put them because I can't drop them off anywhere, like the ones I'm ready to give away. So I have rather a conundrum. I have basically transferred the clutter from one storage room to a room that I would like to use. And now I cannot because of all the Christmas stuff. So yeah, that's how well it's going for me.
Okay. Well, at least you're turning it into something productive. Evangeline,
that's the theory.
Maybe this new clutter closet is a little bit closer to the garage. So it's like, okay, we're moving it out.
It's upstairs. It's not in the basement. So it's halfway there.
How about you, Evangeline? What's the most quarantine-y thing you've done?
I don't think I've done anything all that unusual. I have not been productive. I have been teaching my kid to drive. I've also been doing a little more help with homework than usual. But really, Corey is the one who has kind of done all kinds of crazy quarantine things. So we're all home together, obviously, as everyone else is. But he has taken over my office downstairs where I usually write, but that's okay because, it's all right. But I don't let his bosses know, but he took Friday and Monday off so that he could build a puppet. And that is what he has done.
I saw that puppet and liked it on Facebook. I'm a big fan.
It is epic.
It is awesome. It is a sock. It's a marionette sock puppet. So
not only that, but the sock. When did he used to wear the sock? This is the best part.
So yes, it is a knee sock, which of course he has because he regularly wears a kilt because that was part of our prenup, was that I required him to occasionally wear a kilt. So he has several pairs of knee socks. And so one of them was sacrificed to make his strange dinosaur friend. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it is truly hilarious. So if you want to see it.
Flightless dragon. Yeah, the flightless dragon.
Is that what he called
theory.
it? So
that's what he called it on Instagram.
What is the point of flightless dragon? Isn't that just
I don't ask
a
your
dinosaur?
husband. I don't know.
Well, Matt's the dinosaur expert.
Matt would know. Matt's the dragon / dinosaur expert.
Well,
So.
actually, I believe that if you look at a lot of literature, a lot of different varieties of dragon are flightless. So I think this is valid.
Okay.
So it's like the chicken of dinosaurs.
Don't forget like the sea dragons too.
All right. Matt has deemed it acceptable. So a flightless dragon it shall be.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of art, a lot of creating, a lot of mess in my house right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the most quarantine thing I've done is, I enjoy watching sports, and there are no sports now.
Right.
So I have tried different sports on YouTube. I think I mentioned I got really into marbles for a while. That kind of faded.
Yeah.
So I started watching old games. So I watched the 1991 NBA Finals, the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Chicago Bulls. I was watching Magic Johnson throw these sweet entry passes to Vlade Divac and Scottie Pippen.
Yep, I remember that game, actually.
Getting genuinely into it, and it's like, what has happened to me? What has happened to me?
Yeah.
I started watching a 2012 tennis match between Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer and getting actually into it.
And they probably both had a lot of hair then.
Oh, yes.
Nadal's been.
We all have a lot of hair.
Yes, we all have more hair than
we all have hair right now.
Yes, we have. That's true. Yeah.
My hair is absurd. It's grotesque.
I think we need to bring back the turban. Like,
we really
as a fashion
should.
statement. Like, who is that? I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Who am I thinking of? Nora Desmond. We all need to just,
No, I was totally thinking about a headband today. Yes, it's necessary.
I was thinking about a man bun the other day. That got vetoed.
Oh, no.
I have enough hair for it.
No,
where's Danielle? Bring Danielle in.
Bring Danielle
exactly.
back.
Intervention.
You need to get that. You need to get the fedora we discussed and just cover it up. Remember, we agreed that if it has a feather, then it works.
When you have so much hair, though, that you put the hat on and it just poofs out at the side, that doesn't work.
And I'm in real danger of that. But speaking of quarantine activities, one of the activities that I've been doing, and some of you all have been joining in, thank you, has been I've been posting an Anselm question of the day on Anselm's Instagram and Facebook. That is on the way now, sort of a lead up to the Imagination Redeemed virtual conference, and that is newly minted. So I have my full list of questions now, and I thought it would be fun in the spirit of quarantininess to go through these and maybe discuss them in a little bit more depth, because I had to keep mine short to, keep those Instagram things going. So let's go through some of these. I have 10 listed. We're probably not going to get through all of them, but it's quarantine, so who cares?
Right.
And I sent you all these ahead of time, so let's see what answers you came up with. Okay, first question. What tiny plot hole in a book or a film drives you the craziest? The tinier the plot hole, the better. Okay, so who should I start with? Eeny, meeny, miny, Mandy. What's your answer?
Okay. I tend to ignore plot holes because they hurt my heart. So I had to call in reinforcements. So I asked Bethany, because she is my younger daughter. She is the non-Anselm member younger daughter. So, but
the black sheep of the family.
Yes, definitely. But I knew that would bother her because she was major drama kid. So I knew she would notice plot holes, and she noticed one I had never thought of. Maybe other people have. Why in Little Mermaid? Why didn't Ariel just write things down when she couldn't talk?
Well, because she writes differently because she's from under the sea.
Oh, no, she signs her name on the contract.
She does.
Yes,
she speaks English despite being a mermaid. Okay.
I was going to suggest maybe the mermaid and mermen aren't literate, but you're right. She signs her name on that contract with Ursula.
She's more literate than most kids these days because it was in cursive. I'm just saying.
Wow. Shots fired.
Hey, I was a teacher and the kids would be like, don't write in cursive on my paper. I can't read it. I'm like, that's your problem. Anyway. So yeah, if she can write in cursive, she can write notes to Eric and say, it's me or something. Or that's Ursula. Don't kiss her.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like, okay, how could you, you're right. That's just a plot hole.
Technically, Bethany's right. So yes,
there you go.
For Bethany.
Okay. So that's good. Evangeline, what's your plot hole?
Okay. So my, little irk here is with the book, The Time Traveler's Wife.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I'll try not to give away spoilers, but the sort of like tragic end all hinges on the fact that they live in a place that gets cold winter weather. And so I was like, okay, so he knew he was a time traveler his entire life. So why didn't he just move to like Florida? Or someplace warm. So then wherever, because he shows up when he like time travels, he doesn't time travel with his clothing. So that is, what leads to his tragic end. So, I mean, it would still be awkward, but not that unusual in Florida.
The movie ends with him like, the movie ends with him like naked in the snow?
Well, not exactly. No, but the thing that happens that leads to the tragic end is all hinges on the fact that it's winter. But if he had moved to Florida as early as possible, then that wouldn't have been an issue.
Now, when he time travels, does he time travel in the same like geographic space, or can he also travel through space as well as time?
He travels back to his own life.
Was it in the same, like if I time travel now, could I time travel like to London in 1800s, or would I be like here in Colorado Springs in the 1800s?
No, it was just his own lifetime. So he traveled back to periods in his own lifetime.
Oh, so he just travels within one lifespan.
Yes, his own.
Oh, wow, that's not nearly as much of a superpower as I thought it was. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That is a plot hole.
Yeah. Move to Florida.
That's a problem. Well, what about you, Matt?
So I think I mentioned this one on a previous episode, but it bears repeating because it's the plot hole that drives me the most nuts. And it's so dumb because it's a plot hole for the movie The Santa Claus. The Tim Allen one?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen it, first of all, I was going to say shame on you, but whatever. So the plot of that is Tim Allen goes out onto his backyard on Christmas Eve, sees Santa, says, "Hey, you," Santa falls and dies. It's a kid's movie. It's what I grew up with. So Santa passes along the mantle to Tim Allen, who goes to the North Pole then, and he's the new Santa, but he doesn't know what's going on. So all the elves are like, "Oh, hey, Santa. Yeah, no, you're in charge here, Santa." But here's the thing. If Tim Allen is now Santa, that means that the old Santa died, and the elves don't care at all. They don't even acknowledge it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to him? He's been Santa for 50 years. What happened?" No, he's like, it's like, "Oh yeah, you're Santa now. Okay, cool." Is that
maybe
just
they're
how
part
elves
Vulcan? Are they Vulcan?
Or I was going to say, maybe elves just live for so long that human lifetimes mean nothing to them. Sort of like when an ant dies for us, it's like, oh, whatever, butterfly life. I don't know. Can anyone give me another plot explanation, or are elves just heartless?
I think elves are heartless.
They have pointy ears. Couldn't they just be Vulcan and we just never connected that?
Oh, I like that. I like that thinking. Star Trek Santa Claus crossover.
Yeah.
I think they fall under the fairy umbrella, and fairies can be pretty unconcerned by human lifespans and human conditions. So, yeah.
That's true. I think I'll go with that. But now the counterpoint would be in Santa Claus 2 and 3, which are both awful. Don't watch them. But one of the plot points in Santa Claus 2 is that Tim Allen's going to turn back into a real person, and the elves are so upset because, "Oh no, I like you, Tim Allen, it's Santa Claus." maybe the lesson is the previous Santa Claus was a big jerk, and all the elves were happy he died.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, there were no elf rights, and he was, you know, kind of a taskmaster and stuff.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. That sounds like Santa.
Totally.
Okay, so moving on to the next Anselm Q&A. So question number 2. What is the smallest artistic hill that you are willing to die on? So an opinion that you feel strongly about that you know is just so absurd, and it's like, okay, I'm being ridiculous, but I don't care. Okay, Evangeline, it's your turn to start.
Okay, so I posted a video on this, but I took it down. But not because I'm not willing to die on this hill. But, so I love emo rock, and I find it to be a valid genre of music and have artistic merit. And I know a lot of people would make fun of me for that, and I just don't care.
Now, so emo, when I think of emo, I think of this period between 2001 and 2008, maybe? Is emo still a thing, or did it have a heyday and now it's gone?
You know, I think emo had a heyday. Like My Chemical Romance, you know, is like the quintessential emo rock, and I think it's definitely faded a bit. But, you know, of course, Fall Out Boy's still there, Jimmy Eat World, Angels and Airwaves. They're still around, but yeah, I think I don't know if it's fallen from grace. I don't even know my boys could tell me what's in right now. I don't know. But I just find it melodically inspiring, and it just works. I find myself listening, especially Fall Out Boy and Green Day, which I'm not sure. I think Green Day has a pretty strong punk element, but you could probably fudge them in for emo as well. And I don't know.
I mean,
maybe
Boulevard of Broken Dreams. That seems like a pretty quintessential emo ballad.
Yes. Yes.
I will admit, I went through an emo phase, as didn't we all back in the aughts?
Apparently, I'm still in my emo phase.
I did not, because I was in my 30s, and that would have been scary.
Oh, Mandy, you missed the boat on this one. But I'll say, Evangeline,
okay.
I'll still get those songs stuck in my head, like "Swing, Swing, Swing from the Tangles Up," or that one song. What's Sugar?
Yes, that's such a good song.
Sugar, We're Going Down Swinging, which is I don't understand it at all, but you know.
And oh my gosh, the Black Parade, My Chemical Romance, the Black Parade. Oh my gosh, it's so over the top.
I love it. Yeah,
Mandy,
not only did I not listen to them, my children were watching Blue's Clues at that time, so I missed it on both ends.
When you listen to it,
that's a rough phase of life.
When you're in high school and you just feel so much stronger than you ever do.
You just feel.
Well, for me, it was, I mean, when I was in high school, it was punk and new wave, you know, but.
Love me some punk too. Yeah.
Yes, it fills the same cultural niche. Sometimes I just sit and feel, you know, and that's just how it was.
I think punk is more angry and emo is more sad. Yeah, you can go either way, but either way you're going to get some strong emotion in there.
The spiky dog collars were a thing in my high school. I'm not kidding. I did not have one. Let's get that clear.
I was going to ask, did you or your husband have one? I'd like to.
Heck no. No. I was a pink Izod polo girl.
Oh my gosh.
I totally was. Yep.
I was definitely the grunge boots and the flannels. All the way.
But then I put black eyeliner on once I got to school. So, you know.
My
mom couldn't see. That was my rebellion.
You had a little emo then. You had a smidge of emo if you had some black eyeliner going on. Nice. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. So Mandy, what is your what is your tiny artistic hill that you're willing to die on? I mean, if you want to make this that the black eyeliner is the thing to go, you can do that. But what's yours?
It's the spiky dog collar. No, I'm kidding.
It's a valid fashion choice.
Yeah, no. I took this in my writing, what will I die on? So my big thing is I I apparently have to always write things set in the past because I don't ever want my characters to have cell phones. Because I don't want
They're
cell
a pain.
phones. That's my tiny little, my tiny little hill to die on.
Mandy, you've actually opened up something for me because, you know how lots of people are like, hey, Newton invented calculus during his quarantine. What are you doing, loser? So I was like, oh man, well, I guess I better do something. So I started writing another like YA book during this, and it's been actually really fun, and I've enjoyed it. And I said it takes place in the late 90s, and I did that intentionally because I knew that if it was in modern days, phones would ruin it. So I had to set it back in the late 90s just for that reason.
Yeah, you have to have your characters make eye contact. I mean, hello.
Well, and also go ahead, Evangeline.
Oh, well, it's really hard for them to be in trouble and then have to figure out a way to get out of it themselves rather than just calling for help, calling the police, which is what you should do, but it's not always interesting for your YA character. So, yeah.
No, they don't have to pull over at a sketchy gas station.
Exactly. Back in the day when we really lived our lives. And also, for me, obviously it's a book I wrote, so it involves magical creatures. And I was like, well, if they have their phones, they'll just take a picture of the magical creature and post it on YouTube. And that's lame. It's supposed to be a secret. So it's like, all right, 1998.
There you go.
There you go.
That's good.
Okay, I actually agreed with both of your hills. You probably will not agree with my tiny hill.
Okay.
I think I'm alone here. Probably me and the director of the film. My tiny hill is, I think the movie John Carter was good, and it's a huge shame that they couldn't finish the trilogy. Did you guys see John Carter?
Yes,
no.
I did see it. And I remember enjoying it. It was,
That's probably exciting. One of the ones my husband watched while I was somewhere with my girlfriends. We do that.
Let me tell you, Mandy, it's not a surprise that you didn't see it because this was, it's based off of a series of books by Edgar Rice Burroughs, same dude who wrote Tarzan. Yes. And so it was wildly popular back in the early 20th century. And it was this influence on Star Wars and Avatar, Star Trek, all these sci-fi that came after it cited this book as an inspiration. It was hugely consequential. But it comes out this big budget. They spent a ton of money on it. And because nobody other than me and a few other nerds had ever heard of it, nobody saw it. And it's considered one of the biggest flops in movie history. But when you look at it, it's it flopped, but it was because the marketing campaign was bad and they did this problem wrong, that problem wrong. They're not real problems with
the marketing department.
Well, my wife's a marketer, so I shouldn't say that.
Oh, sorry, Danielle. Except for Danielle, who does all marketing well.
Well, if she had marketed it, it wouldn't have been a flop, is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. And one of the things that drove me the most nuts was people were like, oh, this film just seems so derivative of Star Wars stuff. It's no! Star Wars is derivative of this!
Oh,
it's backwards! But nobody knew that.
I remember seeing news about it flopping, and who was the lead? Yep. Was that Keanu Reeves or what? Who was the lead?
No, it's the guy. He played. He was the main guy in Friday Night Lights. What's his name? Riggin something.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, he did a good job. It's not a perfect.
So you
movie,
felt like they stayed true. It was a good book adaptation.
It was a fine book adaptation. I would have done some things differently, but when you consider it's the first of a trilogy, I thought it did a fine job, and it should have had all three. Oh well.
Yeah.
Gives me something to complain about.
Yes.
Okay, so next one. This may be my favorite question, just so you guys know.
Okay.
Which movie or book would you most like to be adapted by the Muppets?
This was my favorite question too.
Okay, so Mandy, kick us off. Which Muppets movie are you doing?
Princess Bride.
Oh no!
I would normally not want them to remake Princess Bride, but go with me here, okay? Because Emmy and I actually cast it today. Okay?
Oh, please.
So
give us the cast.
Obviously, Buttercup is Miss Piggy.
Yes.
Wesley is Kermit because duh.
Yes.
And you have Rizzo, who can play all of the ROUSs. He can just do all of them. Right? All of them. Yeah. And then Vicini, you got to have you got to have Gonzo because he's got a little darkness. Gonzo's a little dark. So he's
Gonzo
Vicini.
would be a good Vizzini.
Yes. Inigo, we struggled with that one, but we decided this is going to see how this might show my age because this is a lesser known Muppet. Rolf, the piano playing dog.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Because instead of sword fighting, they could have dueling pianos. So, yeah. Okay. And then Fozzie. Yeah, thank you. Fezzik is Fozzie. Duh. And then we're bringing in Grover. Grover has been overlooked for all the Muppet movies, and he is the best Muppet in my opinion.
Grover is my favorite. Yes, absolutely.
So Grover is Miracle Max. Right? And then, and Emmy cast Humperdinck perfectly. Sam the Eagle.
Yes.
Oh, that is perfect.
Right? I liked it.
I love Sam the Eagle.
In any other universe, I would never want anyone to touch Princess Bride, but as soon as that came into my head, I was like, oh my gosh. So that is my answer.
Now here's a question, because in some of these movies, they'll have like one human character, like Michael Caine in
oh, that's
Muppets
true.
Christmas. Do you have a human, or are you just going full Muppets? I'm fine going full Muppet for this.
I forgot. So let's go full Muppet. I mean, we could have a human be the ooh lady. You know. You know what I'm talking about? The queen of putrescence. Boo. That lady? Carol Kane.
Right. Yes. That's right. You're
Carol
right.
Kane. Which, by the way, we couldn't remember her name, but we decided that would be the big-lipped girl from Animals Band.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
I'll give you a hint about
Animal. Anyway.
Oh, you need Well, who could Animal be? Oh, he could just sort of be he could be just all the members of the Brute Squad.
There you go. Well, I was thinking Beaker could be the captain of the guard. The guy who's stupid and like, yeah. Yep.
Now, Mandy, I think you have a winner here.
Anyway.
I think you have a winner. And I'll give you a hint toward mine. So mine, I struggled because I realized there aren't a lot of Lady Muppets. Which I know
that was
play
my
for
issue.
Mine because mine is Muppet Pride and Prejudice, which I think has a lot of potential. I spent a lot of time casting it too. So for me, the two leads are going to be the two humans. So I spent a little bit of time thinking about the humans, and I think I'm not going to get too crazy here. Mr. Darcy is Benedict Cumberbatch, and
yes.
And Jane is Emma Watson. Let's stay traditional,
yes.
Okay?
I'm with you so far.
Now, I think my favorite cast, well, I have a lot of favorite castings here. So Mr. and Mrs. Bennett, so Jane's parents, they're going to be Kermit and Miss Piggy. I think Miss Piggy would be a fantastic Mrs. Bennett, just spouting her mouth off, causing trouble. So this would mean that all of Jane's sisters are going to be like, you know how sometimes they'll have like the little pigs, you know, when Miss Piggy has kids, just the little pigs, so all those. So that'd be like Lydia. She'd also be a great pig character. Fozzie would be Mr. Collins, you know, the awkward cousin who tries to woo Jane. I think he would be amazing. Just picture him like reading a sermon at the dinner table or trying to compliment Emma Watson. And then I have the same thinking of you, Mandy. I think Mr. Wickham should definitely be Gonzo. He can have that sort of that dark, debonair, but also kind of crazy. And also, I needed a way to pit Statler and Waldorf into the film. They are my favorite characters in the Muppets. That's kind of who I aspire to be when I'm old.
Guys?
The two old men who are the two guys who are heckling. I love them.
I never knew their names. I'm
Statler and Waldorf. Thank you.
I'm so impressed with you right now.
There's no direct character for them to be, but I decided to change things a little in Lady Catherine. So, you know, Mr. Collins' benefactor and, you know, Mr. Darcy's aunt. It's going to be like Lord, whatever. They're going to be two guys' names, and that will be Statler and Waldorf. Which is good because they'll be there to heckle Fozzie Bear as Mr. Collins, too. Boom. There you go. Muppets, Pride and Prejudice. Okay. Nice. Evangeline, what do you have?
Okay, so Mandy stole mine. I was going to say...
is that why you said no?
I was going to say Princess Bride, yeah.
Shoot! Sorry.
So what we'll do is we'll go with Gianna's answer on this, which definitely got my my brain turning. So Gianna Soderstrom is one of our Anselm Artist Guild members, and she's been on the podcast before.
Yep.
And so she tagged me on the Instagram of that Matt put out for this question and said, "What about Muppets Wuthering Heights?" So I put an answer on there, but I'm going to change my answer just a little bit, and I'm going to go with our one human character to be Tom Hardy reprising his role as Heathcliff, because Tom Hardy's Heathcliff is really, really good. And there's a softness in the way that he plays it, and I think that he could actually pull this off. So, of course, Miss Piggy would have to be Catherine, because that is
of course.
Excellent fit. Yeah. An excellent fit. And I think Kermit the Frog could be Edgar Linton. Yeah. So
poor Kermit having to compete with Tom Hardy. That's a pretty tall order there.
Well, no one can. No one. So I think probably Gonzo could be Henley, and I don't know though. I love Gonzo, so I don't know if I can doom him to Henley, the role of Henley. And I'm trying to think of the narrator, Lockwood. He's sort of this feckless idiot.
I mean, it sounds like you're describing Fozzie Bear to me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, because he blunders into Wuthering Heights and actually thinks that his neighbor is a gentleman, and then he's the one that encounters the ghost. So, yeah, Fozzie would be petrified.
Awesome, Fozzie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, and you're right. There's not enough women, because I can't think of a Muppet to play younger Kathy.
I mean, exactly. At Miss Piggy, we have the lady in the band that you mentioned.
Yeah, that's it.
Who else is there?
You might have to have a human. I think that's it.
Oh, man.
I guess.
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, there's Gonzo's chickens are female.
I thought about casting Camilla in the role of Lydia so that Gonzo could seduce her, but I thought I'd rather give Lydia some speaking lines.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, okay.
We need to write them a letter, give them some ideas.
I mean, we really should. We really should.
The world needs a new Muppet movie right now.
Yeah.
It really does. I need me some Muppets.
It does.
Gender representation in Muppets.
Yes.
So here's one going in a sort of similar direction. Okay, so I've complained about this several times on the podcast already. Whatever, I'll do it again. I really, really dislike how Disney keeps remaking all their old perfect cartoons as less cool live action movies. These don't need to happen. I dislike it so entirely with every fiber of my being. And then my parents or my brother or a friend would be like, "Oh, did you go see Aladdin? It's actually pretty good." It's like, no, I'm not going to, on principle. So then I go off to write the hit song Alone in My Principles. But then I started thinking about it, and there are some films that genuinely could use a remake. I think the best one that's been remade so far is Jungle Book, because that one actually had a lot to add to the story, and it kind of needed to be done. So here's mine. The Disney film I think actually needs a remake. I'm going to go with Sword in the Stone. It's based off of the first book in T.H. White's Once and Future King series, which, is story of King Arthur. That is one of my favorite book series of all time. I love those books so much. But the original Disney movie leans forward so that people who grew up in a certain era won't hear him, isn't very good. The Sword in the Stone movie is basically 3 song set pieces in an ending. It doesn't really capture what I want from the movie. So I'd like to see this live action, done right, captures the original wit, whimsy, and wisdom. They all start with W of the original book. Let's do that. Okay, Evangeline, which one do you have?
Okay, so I think that this could work. I actually I've thought about this quite a bit. My first choice I nixed because I think it's perfect as it is. My first choice was the Robin Hood, Disney Robin Hood with the fox.
Oh, I love that.
Just so good. Okay, I'm going to go with Emperor's New Groove. Because I think it could be done well.
That's another almost perfect movie, though.
Yeah, it is. Well, but just being perfect doesn't... You're right, it is almost perfect. But I still think it could be pulled off. I think it could be done well. And I love Kronk and Yzma. And so I just... But unfortunately, like, what would be awesome is to actually have the voice actors play the characters. And I think
that would be cool.
You could almost pull that off.
Yzma, and she passed away, so...
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, Tina Turner could do that, though. Wouldn't she be awesome? Tina Turner.
I was going to say Tina Fey. Tina Fey could do it as well.
Tina Fey could do anything.
She can do anything.
Now, Evangeline, I kind of like the Robin Hood thing. Now, we could do it with people instead of, like, animals. And we could add enough of a spin on it. Yeah. And plus, it'd be nice to see... I don't think
it would be better, though. I don't think it would be better.
But at least it'd be different enough. It's not like Lion King, where it's like, oh, here's a shot-for-shot remake, only it's CGI now. Yeah.
Right. What's the point of that? You're right.
We have with humans. People. And also, there's been a spat of Robin Hood movies. There's always been. It's a popular movie topic. But they've gotten so serious lately. We need a Robin Hood that's fun. That quips and sings with Little John. One. Oh, the opening song sequence in that song, Robin Hood and Little John walk. I love that song so much.
I know. Oh my gosh! And Lady
golly, what a day!
And Lady Cluck, Lady Cluck, when they're like, it's like they're battling, and she's like running across the field. Oh my gosh! I gotta watch it again. It's classic.
That's great.
Oh, so what's your pick, Mandy?
I did not take this very seriously. I apologize, but I was just going to say, hey,
this is a very serious podcast.
Normally I am so serious. I mean, come on. But I was thinking Princess and the Frog.
I like that one.
But I want to see them figure out how to make the frog turn into a person, and I don't know. I didn't have a very good answer for this, and you guys made me imagine all your other stuff. So that was, I don't know.
Is the Princess and the Frog good? That's the only animated princess movie I haven't seen. It just sort of came out at a time when I wasn't seeing movies.
The voodoo stuff is kind of extra scary for me, just because that's more real than some of the other scary elements. I mean, there aren't. I don't know. That was a little scary, but my girls loved that one, and they really loved the music is good, and I liked it. And I liked the lightning bug, although I guess Firefly, but the lightning bug is hilarious, and I liked it.
Now, I thought of one more idea for a remake. Let's do a live action remake of the Lion King live action remake. Let's just do another one.
No.
We'll do a shot-for-shot remake. And then we'll just put it in the theaters and Disney will make more money.
No.
Okay, so anyway.
No more.
So there we go for that one.
No.
Okay, so here's a good one.
Okay.
So we all know about the different houses of Hogwarts, obviously. I'm assuming everyone listening has heard of this. So we all know what our own Hogwarts house is. So, I'm Ravenclaw. I'm very strongly Ravenclaw, and I'm not even a little any of the other ones. But what houses are your pets? So I have a puppy, Scout. She is a mini Australian Shepherd. I can confirm, she's the cutest little doggy in the world, and she is a Gryffindor because she is tough and bold and reckless in her courage. Just this morning, we are getting ready to go outside, and I was trying to get out front without letting Scout out, and this couple walked past with a pit bull, and Scout goes up to the window and starts barking like, come on, Matt, me and you can take him. Let's take him. Let's fight for honor to the death right now. So that's my puppy, the Gryffindor. Mandy,
I think all dogs.
What is your
all dogs are Gryffindors.
I have a theory on that, which I'll come back to. But Mandy, what are your pets?
Okay, well, I think by that token, I think all cats are Slytherin. So we just adopted a new kitty. He's 6 years old. His name is Lewis, and he hides everywhere. I even put a bed under the kitchen sink, and just because he kept going under there, and the dogs can never find him. So he's so slippery. He's totally Slytherin. Our dog Mabel is the most loyal thing. Our vet calls her a Velcro dog because she will not leave my husband alone. So she is obviously Hufflepuff, and I also am Hufflepuff. But the trouble is Winston. Some of you know I have a 3-legged rescue Shih Tzu Lhasa Apso with an attitude. And he is just, so I was seriously discussing this all day with my poor husband who was trying to work from home. And so it's one-sided discussion. But anyway, so I was arguing with my daughter saying that he was a Gryffindor, and they're like, he is not a Gryffindor. He's totally a wimp. He's a Slytherin. And I'm like, he's not smart enough to be a Slytherin. And then, so basically what we have decided is he would think that he's Gryffindor, but we think he actually probably wouldn't get into Hogwarts at all. So that's basically.
He's a muggle.
It's okay. We think he's a muggle, and that's okay. Muggles are people too. Muggles are people too. Period. Yeah. They're just people. But anyway, I think he fancies himself a Gryffindor, but he doesn't have the guts he thinks he has. That's all I'm saying. So.
Whenever I go to someone's house, one of my missions there is like, they have a dog. I want this dog to love me by the time I leave. And I almost always do it. I know. Winston, I think he would like to murder me. I've tried. Well, I have tried.
Yes, I know you really have. And I feel bad. It's not your fault. He doesn't like tall people, men, or people with beards. And you are all three of those?
0 for 3. Maybe I'll give him food or something. I don't know.
So if you
Winston, I have not given up on you.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Yeah. But just next time you come over, just sit on the floor and maybe don't have a beard, and then he'll come. Yeah. Maybe it'll work.
For the muggle dog.
For the muggle dog. Yes.
So Evangeline, tell us your Hogwarts house and then your pets.
I am Hufflepuff. I've got a pretty strong Ravenclaw. What do you call it? A wing? I don't know. So I'm a Huffleclaw.
We're blurring Enneagrams and anyway.
Right. At Hogwarts houses. Why not? It's quarantine. Yeah. We've been inside a long time. So I named my cat Neville Longbottom, after the character Neville Longbottom. Yeah. My cat is a jerk. He is definitely a Slytherin. He is not Neville. Now, so we got 2 kitties at the same time, Neville, and then my son's cat, who is named Zareth after some anime character. I don't know. Now, Zareth is the sweetest cat ever. He would have made a wonderful Neville Longbottom, but whatever. It happened. I'm not bitter just because Zareth loves everyone and wants attention constantly, and Neville is... He's the pretty boy in high school. He knows that he's pretty, and so he only comes around when he wants something and is not interested in your needs. And then our dog
hey girl,
is a
couldn't
solid...
help but notice that my food dish is empty.
Exactly. Oh,
hey, girl,
hey. Oh, and he totally does. He flirts, but he really he doesn't want to be touched. He just wants me to tell him how pretty he is. So he will undertake his own petting by rubbing up against a door, but he wants me to admire him. It's pathetic.
Yeah. That's so
And
funny.
then our dog is a solid Gryffindor. Absolutely.
Yeah, my theory here is that 99% of all dogs are either Hufflepuff or Gryffindor, and 99% of all cats are either Ravenclaw or Slytherin.
Or Slytherin,
There's a few sweet cats out there. There's a few dogs that march to their own beat, but most of all, that's what you see.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so now, this is one that I spent a lot of time thinking about. I'll let you know. Did some casting. So let's say they make a biopic. I always thought biopic sounded better, but it's biopic of your life.
Yeah.
So Mandy the movie, Evangeline the movie. Who would you want playing you in this movie of your life? Now you can take this a number of different ways. You could be like, oh, this actress kind of looks like me, or like, oh, this actress is just really cool. I like her, or whatever you want. Like, I thought about just picking, like, Rob Lowe because I want the handsomest man in the world playing me because that'll be fun. But you could take it in any direction. I'll let you know who I picked to sort of kick things off.
Okay.
So the person who I picked, let me make sure I get his name right after I did all this research. Hang on. Wikipedia. That's right. I resisted the urge to just cast Rob Lowe. I'm going with Jesse Eisenberg. So Jesse
is that the Mark? Yeah. He played
Exactly. So
okay.
He was in he's in Zombieland, which one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
He was in The Social Network. He played Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
He's been in some other things too. Those are sort of the two things that he's most known for. And as I watch him, he doesn't look that much like me, but something about, I feel like he could capture my energy. And I feel like he could play me, and I'd want him to play me. So, Jesse Eisenberg, if you want it, the part is yours.
Oh, he has been waiting to hear that. Isn't he one of our most regular listeners? I've heard that.
I mean, probably.
For sure.
He's a subscriber.
If any of y'all haven't seen Zombieland, you should definitely watch Zombieland. It's great.
Yes. I actually just watched The Social Network. And so when you said that, I'm like, oh, but Matt, I could see him capturing like your like intelligent kind of freneticness, but you have a sweetness too. But then I remembered he's sweet in Zombieland. He's the sweet character in Zombieland. So
there you go.
So I would say I just saw Social Network too. We probably saw it for the same reason. It just came on Netflix.
I added it to my list, but haven't watched it yet.
I loved it. Danielle hated it. Danielle hated it for the very reasonable reason that everybody in that movie is a horrible person, and she doesn't like watching horrible people be horrible to each other, which is fair.
Valid.
And probably accurate, but
valid.
I thought it was fantastic. I loved it so much.
Okay, my question is, so who would play Danielle?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, me and Danielle talked about this. She picked, I thought this was a good pick. What's the name of that girl who played, Saoirse Ronan?
Lively?
Saoirse Ronan.
Oh, Saoirse Ronan.
Oh,
Saoirse
Ronan.
in Little Women. I think that's a good one. She captures Danielle's energy.
I think that is good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think Jesse Eisenberg and Saoirse Ronan would be a very cute couple together.
Yes, they would. Not as cute as you guys.
Right.
All right. So Mandy, who's playing you in your biopic?
Okay, for a couple of reasons. I don't think she looks like me, but I think I am a person of extremes, and I think someone who could handle that is Sally Field. And because she can be really emotional on either end of the spectrum. It also helped. I think the reason I thought of her, because when I have auditioned for parts in community theater, I tend to use, have you guys seen Steel Magnolias? I know I'm old. You have to see.
Not.
Oh yeah. Evangeline and I actually decided, Evangeline and I have made a post-quarantine date. She's going to come over and I'm going to make mint juleps and we're going to watch Steel Magnolias. You can totally come. Matt.
Hey,
yes, Matt.
Going to a place sounds fantastic right now. I'm in.
Going to a place.
We can give Winston a mint julep. We can give Winston a mint julep. It might be the thing that just convinces him. Anyway, he already only has 3 legs. I don't know. That might be bad. But also I've used her. She has this monologue. Maybe some of the listeners will know. She has this intense monologue at the graveside. And I've used that to audition for stuff. And then we have both played the same part. We both played Amanda Wingfield in Glass Menagerie. She was on Broadway. I was a little off Broadway, like, here in the Springs, but just a little off Broadway. But anyway, so that's why I thought of her. But I think because I'm a wacko and she's good at playing that kind of emotional wreck.
I think she
that's
can
present it. Thanks.
All right.
So do you have a pick for Peter?
Oh, this is true.
Do I have a pick for Peter?
Meet your husband.
Oh.
We could come back.
People have told, I'm just going basically on looks alone. People tell him he looks like Ken Olin, which you guys, again, are not going to know who that is. But he was on Because now he's mostly a director. But he was on a show called 30-something. That doesn't help. You guys are like, we don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Let me think about that.
I mean, I just looked him up on Wikipedia. He's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
Ken Olin.
He's younger than Sally Field, though.
Well, there
so
we
that
go.
would be a little weird. Maybe we should go with.
Well, again, I've been going on Wikipedia. Sally Field is 73. Ken Olin is 65.
Okay, but I'm just going to go Harrison Ford. I'm going to go Harrison Ford just because Peter likes him. That's my answer. Peter likes Harrison Ford.
Cool.
Okay. Wow, Harrison Ford is 77 now.
His wife's like 40 or something, but whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, his wife, Callista Flockhart, is 55.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Wikipedia.
Okay, anyway, I can Wikipedia all night. Evangeline, your turn.
I'm excited.
Okay, so there's not even really any contest. It's always, I think I was 13, 14, 15, around there when Disney's The Rocketeer came out, and I started getting comparisons to Jennifer Connelly.
That. Absolutely.
Yeah. So actually, at one point, Corey and I wanted to go as, the Labyrinth, the Goblin Prince, and what is her name? Is it Sarah? Yeah, we wanted to do a Halloween costume where we were, he was the Goblin King and I was Sarah from the Labyrinth. But then, people stopped comparing me to Jennifer Connelly as I got older. But then just the other day, I was in the doctor's office and the nurse came in and said, "Oh, you remind me of somebody.
That's awesome.
It's Jennifer Connelly. I just watched that movie." And I was, oh my goodness, I haven't gotten that comparison in years. So yes, it would have to be her. And yes, I have somebody for Corey. Okay, so Matt, the other day I recommended the It Crowd or the IT Crowd to you, that British show. Chris O'Dowd reminds me of Corey. The guy, he's got curly hair. You would know his voice. Yeah, if you heard his voice, you would know his voice.
Oh, I hated that movie.
Sorry.
He? Yes.
Oops.
It's been a long time since I've seen that. Here? He was in Thor. He was the boyfriend that Natalie Portman is like. They're like totally out to dinner, and she gets that phone call. Yes, and he has Corey energy.
Grow the mustache
he looks like
out.
He could make a marionette out of a sock.
Just stuff in his house.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Mandy, me and you are gonna have to have a discussion about you disliking
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong movie.
By the way, I love the fact that it's the one with Kristen. What's her name from Saturday Night Live?
No, yes, did not like that movie. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
can we still be friends?
Just like I'm the biggest Jane Austen fan in Anselm, I'll be the biggest Bridesmaids fan in Anselm. I'm okay with that.
Sorry. Can we still be friends?
Okay, so we have time for one more question.
All right.
I guess. Okay. Okay, so last one. This is going to be a little bit of a curveball for last question, but it's one I spend a lot of time thinking about. You can bring back any one animal from extinction. Part one of the question. But part two, the twist. This animal now becomes common in your area. So it's sort of like, sometimes around here we'll see a deer or raccoons or maybe even like a black bear every now and then. That's what this animal becomes in your area. So you could be like, I would love to have a T-Rex. But it's like, guess what? The neighbor got eaten by a T-Rex. They're like, I'd love a Pteranodon. I'd love Pteranodons to be flying around. Whoop! Nope. Pteranodon just scooped up your cousin while he was riding his bike. So you don't want a Pteranodon. Okay. So with all that
has to be practical.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but if you're willing to risk your neighbors getting eaten, that's so Evangeline, what animal would you choose?
Okay, I'm going to go with the dodo bird. Fairly harmless. mostly pigeon. Nobody would mind. Well, you stole Princess Bride. I stole Dodo Bird.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
They don't deserve to be extinct.
I agree.
Obviously.
And
they only got extinct if they were around.
Yeah, they didn't hurt anyone. That's why the sailors killed them all and ate them, because the dodos just walk up like, hey, what's up, guys? Oh, that's a big pointy stick you got there.
Now, I realize I'm basing my opinion on, Ice Age, the movie.
Oh,
but they seemed really cute and funny. I love that we picked two things the same. Right. That's awesome.
Well, since you both picked it, that means there's twice as many dodo birds out there now. So congratulations.
Okay.
And I'll give you guys mine. Mine's going to sound crazy at first.
Okay.
So hear me out. I would choose the Velociraptor.
What?
Now, I know you're thinking, oh, he's crazy because look at the Jurassic Park films. Yeah. Raptors eat everyone. The only question is whether you get, eaten in a cool way or not. But
what?
In the Jurassic Park films, they took severe creative liberties with the Velociraptor. Okay. The average Velociraptor only weighed about 33 pounds. So basically, it was the size of my miniature Australian Shepherd. The dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park films were actually based on the Deinonychus, which is a much scarier, much bigger dinosaur that's kind of a distant relative of the Velociraptor. But if you look at Velociraptor, it's about the size of, like I said, about a miniature Australian Shepherd. I think those would be cool to be like running around, flapping their little, I don't think they really had wings, but they had claws with wings on them. I think that would be cool. You could train one as a pet. That would be so cool. Have a pet Velociraptor running around with my puppy. There, Velociraptor.
Were they as vicious? Were they as vicious as they were portrayed in the movies?
Let's see. Looking at, they have anything on okay. Predatory behavior. Okay, they were definitely predators. But I mean, come on, they're not that big.
I mean, so the dodo birds can gang up on them. The dodo birds outnumber them.
Or they could.
So.
I mean, maybe the Velociraptors will send the dodo birds extinct again. That'd be very smart.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they could be domesticated. Like we've domesticated dogs. We could have domesticated Velociraptors. It's like a whole history of them existing. And then now some of them are pets and the other ones are just out there like wolves. Just avoid them.
Couldn't you see people, like I have a couple neighbors who have chicken coops. Couldn't you see someone having like a dodo coop?
Yeah.
Eating dodo eggs?
Absolutely.
That could be a thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
I guess we'll never know.
We don't eat pigeon eggs.
So that brings us to the end of the Anselm Q&A. Thank you both
artists
for playing.
I'm so intellectually stimulated right now. Oh my goodness.
In conclusion, I find it. So something I've noticed with quarantine is that as we keep going, Danielle keeps thinking like house improvement stuff. She's like, we should really get the yard redone. We just need to have it landscaped. We're like, oh, we could really do this project or that project. And me, I'm looking through like pointless collectibles online. Like I found a Funko figurine of the red Power Ranger wearing the green Power Ranger dragon armor. I was like, that's what I want. This is what I need. I need this right now. That's how I'm spending my quarantine. So in closing, maybe we should share our plans for the remainder of quarantine. Do you have any specific plans, or do you plan on looking for Funko collectibles with me?
I don't think I need to. I have the two Funkos that I needed, and those are Joyce Byers and Hopper from Stranger Things. And they are right next to each other on my shelf as they should be.
So you're Team Chopper. Okay.
Oh, definitely.
This could be another future podcast.
Yes.
Okay, Mandy, what are your plans for the rest of quarantine?
To make plans. How about that? I don't know. To convince Winston to like Matt. Well, that is my plan. I will start. This is what I would do.
Yes,
I will start showing him pictures of you and videos, and I will have him listen to the podcast and give him treats. And then that's my plan. I will give him treats.
Oh, there we go.
Listening to the podcast, and then he will be like, "Dude, I love this guy." That's my plan. That is my plan.
I'm picturing Winston wearing earphones and running around your house listening to Matt talking, and you're
hobbling
giving him
around
treats.
on his three
like
legs.
Matt.
I mean, I think that was the whole point of the Pavlov's dog experiments. That sounds really, really plausible to me. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's a worthy
Mandy,
use of your time.
Exactly. It's quarantine. So Evangeline, Mandy, thank you both for joining me for some Anselm Q&A. And now the digital fire is fading, and we all know it's time to go home to our homes, even though we all know we haven't left our homes because it's quarantine. So once again, if you want to find out more about Anselm Society, visit anselmsociety.org. Matt Mellema with Believe to See. Thanks again for listening.